Good morning and welcome back, Panthers. I'm Brooke. Today is Thursday, February 13th, 2020.
And I'm Griffin. Field trips, Renaissance cards, and more are all coming your way here on Panther 4 News.
Are you having trouble deciding a career that you want to pursue in the future? The Lee County Foundation College and Career Center will be holding a career panel on Tuesday, February 25th at Ida Baker High School from 6 to 8 p.m.
There is a National Art Society meeting today until 2:30 p.m. in Miss Cotton's room. Members bring money to pay your NAHS fees and have your positive boards finished.
Tomorrow, Renaissance cards will be delivered at the beginning of fourth period. All second quarter Renaissance card holders can preview the ballet Alice in Wonderland on Thursday in the auditorium from about 12:45 to 1:30.
This Saturday, the Cypress Lake Marching Band and the JROTC will participate in the Edison Grand Parade. If you're going, make sure to keep an eye out for them. And also, Sammy Watkins, a Fort Myers native and part of the 2020 Super Bowl championship team, will be there. So keep an eye out.
Are you taking chemistry and need a little help? Let's take a minute to hear from Mrs. Blair about chemistry tutoring.
I teach honors chemistry and AP chemistry. I really liked chemistry when I had it in high school and also in college. My degree is medical technology, so I worked in a hospital for 15 years in the laboratory. But I really liked working with kids, so this was a really good way to combine my science background with working with students who are teenagers. I like that age group. Chemistry tutoring is every Thursday, and what it is my AP students work with my chemistry students and try to help them with different concepts. And a lot of times students explain it in a way that may be more understandable to another student than the way I explain it. So it gives students another viewpoint on the same topic, maybe another way of doing it. And it's from 1:50 to 2:30.
The Estero Walk, Saturday, March 7th at the Estero Community Park is looking for volunteers. This event is from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. and shifts times vary based on the positions. Jobs at the event include setup and takedown, encouraging the walkers, and running rest stops. For more information, see your grade level Google Classroom.
Seniors who are planning to attend FSW after graduation. FSW is having an application-free waiver week from March 1st to the 7th. During this week, all application fees will be waived so that students can apply for free. Also, the Spring Open House Week is on February 24th to the 26th. This year's open house event allows students to come and learn about what FSW has to offer, with academic demonstration, presentations, information tables, campus, and lab tours.
On February 20th, Miss Amos will be taking any students interested to Valencia College in Orlando to take part in the tour of their facilities. Valencia has a direct connect partnership with UCF for guaranteed admission for all Valencia students. Hurry up, there are only 8 spots left. There is a $25 bus transportation fee. If you are interested, tomorrow is the deadline, and make sure you turn in all your paperwork and money to Miss Marchand's room in E204.
Florida Polytechnic University will be in College Corner Wednesday, February 26th from 10 to 12.
Wonderland Cookie Dough will be here on Valentine's Day, February 14th.
Remember, students, that in the mornings you need to be in the courtyard or cafeteria before 7, where everyone can be supervised.
I don't know if you've noticed, but our track is all torn up. And the track and the football field are both out of commission.
What? Really? I did not know that. That's so weird.
Really?
Yeah.
You haven't seen my track package?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
We should. I'm interested. Let's take a look at that.
All right.
So one of the reasons why we're going to redo the track is it's absolutely necessary. We have a couple of construction issues, the band concession stand being one. It's a little too close to the track, and it is a concrete track right now. So with that, it's not the most ideal running surface. So we're gonna be receiving a new rubberized track, which will be much better for the runners as well as for our facility. So it's going to make it look great. The track construction is estimated to start actually in 2 weeks, which is January 27th. And we have been given an estimated completion time of about 3 months, give or take, depending on weather, depending on if there's any issues that arise as they start construction. It's going to affect our track team and our spring sports that use the stadium field quite a bit, because once they start construction on the 27th, we will not be able to access that area at all, because it'll essentially be a construction site. So we're going to have to move practices, and right now we're in the mix of coordinating with Parks and Rec and trying to use other facilities in the meantime. So we'll have to be road warriors this year for a lot of our spring sports, and lacrosse will be affected as well as track and field.
Good morning, Panthers. I'm Ale, and this is your daily sports update. Last night, boys varsity basketball lost to Mariner with a score of 91-59, and boys lacrosse lost with a score of 18-9 to Golden Gate. Tonight, varsity softball will be at DeSoto against Port Charlotte, and the game starts at 7 p.m. Boys baseball will have their second preseason game at home against Seacrest Country Day School today at 7 p.m. Wrestling senior night will be tonight at home against Island Coast. The tennis team will also have a match against Canterbury. Boys will play away at Reddenburg Park and girls will be at home. Both games will be starting at 3 p.m. On Saturday, JV Wrestling will be having a tournament. Next Tuesday, girls lacrosse will play their season opener against Riverdale High School at home at 5 p.m. All home lacrosse games this season will be played at Kelly Road Sports Complex due to the renovation of the track. Any boys or girls interested in running track, even if you are currently in another sport, please come by E216 to speak with Coach Bird or W261 for Coach Dougherty this week. We are especially in need of students interested in shot, put, or discus. We are currently looking forward to a successful season. As always, remember to come on out and support all your Panther teams here at Cypress. On behalf of everyone here at Panther 4 News, I'm Brooke.
And I'm Griffin. Grad Bash tickets go on sale this week. See Miss Camp for more info.
And I'm Ale. Let's learn a little bit more about an important American for Black History Month.
The northern city of Baltimore, Maryland, on July 2, 1908, Norma Marshall with her husband William Marshall at her side was giving birth to their first and only child, Thurgood. While the main thing crossing William and Norma's mind was providing and celebrating their child's birth, little did they know Norma just gave birth to one of the greatest lawyers the U.S. had ever had. After leaving middle school, Marshall attended Baltimore's Colored High and Training School, where he was an above-average student and put his finely honed skills of argument to use as a star member of the debate team. Although the teenage Marshall was also something of a mischievous troublemaker, this would serve him well, as one of the punishments for one of his pranks was memorizing the United States Constitution, which Marshall later called his greatest accomplishment in high school. After graduating from high school in 1926, Marshall attended Lincoln University, a historically black college in Pennsylvania. Then, after graduating from Lincoln with honors in 1930, Marshall applied to the University of Maryland Law School. Despite being overqualified academically, Marshall was rejected because of his race. The first-hand experience with discrimination in education made a lasting impression on Marshall and helped determine the future course of his career. Instead of Maryland, Marshall attended law school in Washington, D.C. at Howard University and then graduated magna cum laude. Around 1936, Marshall decided to close his practice and moved to New York City to begin working for the NAACP as full-time legal counsel. Over the next several decades, Marshall argued and won a variety of cases to strike down many forms of legalized racism, helping to inspire the American civil rights movement. Marshall would affect some of the most important civil rights cases decisions of all time. Marshall argued in cases like Brown v. Board of Education for the desegregation of public schooling. He also won many other cases such as Smith v. Allwright, where Marshall's legal expertise caused the Supreme Court to strike down the Democratic Party's use of whites-only primary elections in various southern states. Marshall's indisputable arguments and legal victories helped solidify desegregation as the way things should be. In 1961, newly elected President John F. Kennedy appointed Marshall as a judge for the U.S. Second Circuit Court of Appeals. Serving as a circuit court judge over the next 4 years, Marshall issued more than 100 decisions, none of which were overturned by the Supreme Court. In 1965, Kennedy's successor, Lyndon B. Johnson, appointed Marshall to serve as the first black U.S. Solicitor General, the attorney designated to argue on behalf of the federal government before the Supreme Court. During his first 2 years as Solicitor General, Marshall won 14 of the 19 cases that he argued before the Supreme Court. In 1967, President Johnson nominated Marshall to serve on the bench before which he had successfully argued so many times before the United States Supreme Court. On October 2, 1967, Marshall was sworn in as a Supreme Court Justice, becoming the first African American to serve on the nation's highest court. Throughout Marshall's 24-year tenure on the court, Republican presidents appointed 8 consecutive justices, and Marshall gradually became an isolated liberal member of an increasingly conservative court. For the latter part of his time on the bench, Marshall was largely relegated to issuing strongly worded dissents. Marshall retired from the Supreme Court in 1991. Justice Clarence Thomas replaced him. After decades of groundbreaking legal victories and a 24-year tenure on the Supreme Court, Marshall died of heart failure at the National Naval Medical Center in his home state of Maryland, leaving behind his wife and 2 sons. Marshall's strategy of attacking racial inequality through the courts represented a third way of pursuing racial equality, more pragmatic than King's soaring rhetoric and less radical than Malcolm X's strident separatism. In the aftermath of Marshall's death, an obituary read, "We make movies about Malcolm X. We get a holiday to honor Dr. Martin Luther King, but every day we live the legacy of Justice Thurgood Marshall."